Okay, I'm hoping we can all hear the stream. That is my hope right here, right now, that we can hear this stream. So please just tell me. Yeah, okay, I can turn it up a little bit. Hold on. All right, how's that? I don't want to keep it too loud. Purely, okay, we got two options here. I can either do the calling and speaking and talking and all that fun stuff, or I can leave it to the stream because I think this time around we've got the commentators actually in the stadium. We might actually have the proper camera angles and everything happening. So, entirely up to the people whether they want it to be me or whether you want it to be the stream. But great news is that we're up and running, which is absolutely massive. Day 2. So this will be fun because we've got a mix of guys who have already raced and girls who have already raced versus those that are coming in for their first competition of this meet. So you can see the men's 200s rolling in shortly, but first up we got the 110 hurdles. This is a good field. A lot of Australians should tune in here because this is a guy that was so close to competing for Australia. Sasha Zoya, he competed for us as a junior. He's going to go over these 110 hurdles here now as representing France. Obviously, he was in Paris last year. He beat every time. Okay. Let's hear the stream and see if it's good. Karina, I think the stream is going to be good. The stream is going to be very good. I'll tell you what I can do is I can not talk. I don't know about that, but I can not talk while all the other races are on, right? And you can get the commentators and you can do it that way. And then when Jess is on, I can be the man talking. That could be the way to go here. I'm not entirely sure. This 4-screen approach, like 4 multiple screens, is really throwing me right now. But anyway, that's beside the point. This is the men's 110 hurdles. Day 2, you can see the crowds built up a bit more. I've heard from multiple sources that it is far louder. It is far more rambunctious in the stadium than what we saw yesterday. But equally to that, it was literally 5:30 or 5:42 on a Friday afternoon in Jamaica. So people were streaming in from work. They were streaming in from everywhere. It's here we go. Beautiful. Thanks, JT. Gee, some good names in this. Anyway, let's go over this. Omar McDonald is going to go out of lane number 1 in this 110 hurdles. Then Dylan Beard, Cordell Tinch, Freddie Crittenden, finalist at the Olympics. Daniel Roberts, another medalist at the Olympics. Sasha Zoya, Orlando Bennett, and Eric Edwards. So obviously the bias for me is that I would love to see Sasha do well. But a guy that is just like a good grinder, only just got his next pro contract this year after the Olympics, is Freddie Crittenden. He's 4 from the right. Now, if you remember the Olympics last year, he actually had some form of, I don't know if it was hamstring tendonitis or tendinopathy, but he had some form of muscle issue, and he actually jogged his heat, like cruised his heat, so that he could get through to the repechage rounds because he knew he was going to get a second chance. He didn't want to test his hamstring over the heat. So this is a guy that actually used the Olympics repechage round to his advantage. You don't see that often, which is incredible. So it's I really have a soft spot for him, but I think Daniel Roberts is probably the man to watch in this field. A great racer. He's probably one of those Americans that from time to time gets a little bit forgotten in the grand scheme of American hurdling. And with no good reason. It's just that I think when you are running with Grant Holloway all the time, it is hard. So keep in mind, he was your Olympic silver medalist last year, and he is a phenomenal athlete. But we do have an Olympic gold medalist in this field, and that is our man representing none other. Oh, no, we don't. Sorry. I've got this wrong. I'm thinking of a different race. Youngster Dylan Beard, Cordell Tinch, Orlando Bennett, the Jamaican, and Omar McLeod, the Jamaican. So it's literally the USA up against Jamaica plus Sasha Zoya. So it's sure to be a good competition. So McLeod, Beard, Tinch, Crittenden, Roberts, Zoya, Bennett, Edwards. You can see Sash, he's fully saluting hurdle number 1. That is Sasha Zoya. And I'm keen to know, where is everybody tuned in from? Where are you dialed in from? I'm assuming it's a lot of Australians. Obviously here to watch Jess Hull in less than an hour's time. But it looks at least like Jamaica is a little bit busier, which is good. Yeah, the 4-screen approach is interesting. So the difference between the races and the challenges is their bibs. So you can see the red bibs and the white bibs. That's how you separate between the races and the challenges. So the races will have the red bibs and the challenges will have the white bibs. So anybody with a red bib is a racer and anybody with the white bib is a challenger. So you can see Zoya, Roberts, Crittenden are all the racers. They'll be at every Grand Slam. Then you've got Edwards, Bennett, Tinch, Beard and McLeod. They're all the challengers. So we saw yesterday a couple of these challengers got up and won, and with good reason. If you're not guaranteed to come back for all of these Grand Slams, you definitely want to make the most of the ones that you're in, because there's $100,000 on the line if you can win across the board. So these guys will want to start strong. We've lost Mary Mora in this women's 1500 here today. Unfortunately, suffered from pretty severe dehydration. Apparently yesterday is what's come out of her camp. So she's not in the 1500. As it stands, it's Nikki Hiltz. They have the most amount of points. They accumulated 12 points yesterday. They won the 800. Our own Jess Hull, she was third. So she picked up 6 points. So it is interesting. I mean, for someone like Nikki, the fact that they came in and won an event they're typically not strong at would indicate that they're a very strong chance to walk away with $100,000 out of this race. Obviously, time will tell. Conditions are tough. The intros here are nearly done. And look, I'm a big kit guy. Like, I love analyzing the race kits of these brands. I could not love Nike's new 2025 kit more. So, Omar McLeod, he goes out of 1. Dylan Beard is in 2. Cordell Tinch is in 3. Crittenden 4. Roberts 5. Zoya 6. Orlando Bennett, for me, from Puma, is a good watch, second from the left. He's in 7. And Eric Edwards goes out of lane number 8. Guys, we started all the way up at the top of the grandstand yesterday, and now we're flying in one corner, race in the next. This is your men's 110 hurdles. Crittenden, Roberts, Zoya, Bennett for me.
They get away safely, and right in the middle, Roberts is going well, and Roberts just has it at the moment, but Crittenden's right on terms, and look at the far side, Dylan Beard. Beard's just got this at the moment, he's got half a yard. Can he hang on for the win? They're all charging, but he gets it. Zoya finished very, very quickly indeed, after not such a good start, but Beard, well, as said, he comes to this with great indoor form. He got out well.
Wow, that's a big win. Jeez. All right, well, Dylan Beard, honestly, was not really much on my radar at all to watch. That's a great performance from him. So Sasha Zoya gets up for second, so close. Very, very close. Now, I'm not sure whether you heard all of that in terms of their race calling. I couldn't guarantee. I tried to turn it up for you. It took me everything not to talk during that race, but Dylan Beard comes away with the win, and that's a huge victory for him. He'll take so much from that. He's another one of our challengers, our US challengers, is Dylan Beard, 26-year-old. And just been, he had that world lead indoors not so long ago out of Howard University, one of the historically black colleges over in the US. Baltimore native, and he is stormed in here. His lifetime best is 13:21. So, to be quite honest, he's not that far away. This is a guy, from my account, that has not represented the US. So, an enormous coup for the 26-year-old has come in. He's capitalized off hot form. That is actually the really cool thing about Grand Slam, is that if you've had a good year, and shout out to Kyle Merber for doing a good job in picking these challenges and races, that is half the battle. But if you've had a good year, you've had a good, year and a half, you can step in here and make some serious coin, because Dylan Beard is an athlete that's unsponsored by any major company. He is running with some sponsors, and I have a feeling that Dylan Beard was running with a Walmart sponsor, which is the equivalent of running with a Target sponsor in Australia. So have a look at that. Beard comes in and takes 12 points. It then goes back here. Yeah, you can see that. So it goes back then to Sasha, to Roberts, to Crittenden, to Tinch, McLeod, Edwards, and Bennett. So my ruffian Bennett, he's only walking away here with 1 point. But Dylan Beard just storms in. I'm not going to call him a youngster, he's 26, but he comes in and just steals it at the death from some world-class athletes. So what do we think of the crowd today? This is a bit better. This also, it's interesting today because the short sprints and the long sprints, because they obviously break them up between 1s and 2s, 4s and 2s, they both run 2s. So you're going to see 2 sets of 200s today. The first one we're going to see is from our long sprinters who competed in the 400 meters yesterday. And this will be their second event. So whoever comes out on top here is going to be whoever takes out the 100,000, 80,000, 60,000, all the way down from there. So if we get a little bit of an update, I'll give you an update on our men's long sprinters. If you want the replay of yesterday, Chris Bailey, he was your world indoor champion over 400. Unsurprising that he capitalized on that form. He won yesterday, 44.34. Matt Hudson-Smith was second. Vernon Norwood was third. Busane Kepensipi was fourth. Samakonga was fifth. Samakonga is a guy that I fully anticipate to be right up there today. Mazala Samakonga. He was in fifth. The Dream Richards was sixth. DeAndre Watkin was seventh. And Barnes got DQ'd, the Jamaican. So he accumulated no points. So pretty well impossible for him to come out and do anything major in this 200. But honestly, I'd love to see Samakonga come out and clean up. Not sure of the wind readings. It's a very good point. What do we think of Sasha's performance? Give me that, because this is a guy that is such a lovely and fun kid, by the way. If you've ever had the pleasure of meeting Sasha, comes from a beautiful family and a great stable. But, it would have been unbelievable to see him compete for Australia, but France is doing a good job in developing him into a world-class athlete. He was a world champs finalist in 2023. He was an Olympic semi-finalist last year, and he's still so young. So he'll be happy to pick up 10 points, I reckon. He'll be very, very stoked to pick up 10 solid points. It's a big shout out. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We got 640 of you right now. I have to put in these plugs. I have to. If you haven't already, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to this YouTube, because obviously this is Mitch Dyer here. I'll be on the mic today at the Australian Junior Champs. I'll be on the mic the whole time, actually, through to the Senior Champs as well. You can see the results, 13:29, 34, 35, 36. So very close. If you can subscribe, it does a lot in terms of developing this business and being able to bring more action. The race calling was pretty good. Okay, so I can leave it to the commentators to call the races, except for Jess. I'll do Jess. If you really want me to race call, I can, but I get the sense that maybe the pros will be best. If you can subscribe to the YouTube, it will mean a lot. So just hit that subscribe button. I feel like an influencer. I hate it, but If you could, it would mean the world because it just means that we can produce more content here for Australian athletics. So this is the second event for these guys. And if you want the standings, I'll give them to you. So the current leader is Chris Bailey. And when I say leader, if you're just tuning into Grand Slam for the first time, if you haven't, I apologize, but I feel like it's important to explain this to people. So Chris Bailey won yesterday. He's accumulated the most amount of points. He's got 12 points, right? Matt Hudson-Smith, the Olympic silver medalist in the 400, he was second, 44.65. He gets 8 points. Whichever of these guys wind up on the most points wins the $100,000 US for this event. So Chris Bailey will be desperate to finish in the top 3. Someone like Muzala Samakonga, who finished 5th yesterday, will be desperate to win this, to pick up those 12 points, because the gap of 4 points from 12 to 8 points first to second versus second to third only being 2 points is quite significant. So these guys will know what's up for stakes. $100,000 US. Can you imagine that? $100,000 US. Sometimes I just can't believe it. Because also, let's say hypothetically you win them all, and you also, they have an athlete, a male and female athlete of the whole meet, you get another $100,000. So you could leave Grand Slam with $500,000 US. Now that's pretty good to me. So let me give you the full breakdown, because I want the full breakdown of the prices. Because it is a lot of cash. Thank you. Appreciate you. I know. Can you believe? Yeah, look, I think the one camera is solid, but look, given that we were literally watching through a straw for the first half of yesterday, I will take this. I will take these 4 camera angles. I would have killed for 4 camera angles yesterday. So lane number 1, I'm going to give them to you, and maybe the commentators are telling you, but I'm cutting them off because this is an Australian stream. We don't need them all talking. Lane 1, Vernon Norwood, is currently in 3rd. Gamit Hadaji, I keep saying that wrong, apologies. The Botswanian is in 4th. DeAndre Watkin is in 7th, so he's going to need a lot. The Dream Richards is in 6th at the moment. Muzala Samakonga is in 5th. Then it goes Hudson-Smith's in 2nd. Chris Bailey is your leader, and Xandrion Barnes got DQ'd yesterday, so he's currently last of this whole crew. Vernon Norwood was easily one of the most fun guys I interviewed on the circuit last year. Really got along well with him. He was at just about every Diamond League. He was so unlucky not to make that 400-meter team for the US. Obviously, Quincy Wilson was the headline, I feel like, of that team outside of, obviously, Quincy Hall being the gold medalist. But, Vern obviously did pick up the gold in the 4x4. He's a multiple-time Olympic medalist. And, I really do rate him as a 200-meter runner. I'm trying to read these comments at the same time as call this. So you can just about scratch out lane number 9, because once you get DQ'd in one of these events, it's pretty hard, I think, to come back from that. After this is Jess Hull, which I know everybody is here to watch. Jess Hull. She will be rolling in shortly, the 1500. She's currently in 3rd in the standings. Drop who you think is going to win this 200. I think it's going to be Samakonga, is my personal opinion. But I was very wrong in the men's 110 hurdles as well. So I'll leave it to you, chat. Do you want me to call it, or do you want the illustrious crew at Peacock to call this one home? Because I'm going to be watching probably the top left screen is going to be my guess of the best angle for me to watch on. But we'll see. These guys have some quick times here. So Norwood, a Botswanian, Watkin, Richards, Samakonga. He got a big bit of love for DeAndre Watkin. And I can't ever look past Samakonga after what he did at the Olympics last year. He's one of my favourites. One screen, please. Yeah, I can't. I cannot control the screens. I wonder if you could zoom on one. If you could pick one of these 4 screens to zoom in on, I'm probably taking the top left. But to be honest with you, the top right might be the one. It's just got a million different logos on it. Look at Big Vern. He knows where the cameras is. He's like, yep, right behind my left-hand shoulder. I will get as much screen time as possible for those New Balance colors. I actually do like the Puma kit, this pink-purple kit. It's not my favorite. This Nike white kit, the cameraman's panning on right now, is probably one of my favorite kits since about 2009 Nike. When it was just iconic. Back when, Buster was Adidas for a long time. So I was going to say Buster Mottram. It wouldn't have been Mottram. I reckon I remember watching the Dathan Ritzenheims of the world roll around in that kit. Yeah, I think top left is the way to go. You know what? Why am I leaving this to the chat? Maybe I just call it. Oh, me just zoomed in. All right. So here we go. These guys battling it out. This is duking it out for $100,000 by the way. Everyone in the chat. 100,000 US. It's about 160,000 Aussie on the line for Norwood, the Botswanian, Watkin, Richards, Samakonga, Hudson Smith, Bailey, and Barnes. I'll stop. I'll give you the pros to call this one home.
Silver medalist in 6, then Samakonga 5, Richards 4. And right on the inside, watch for Norwood in lane 1.
Set.
Chris Bailey actually gets out pretty sharp. Matt Hudson-Smith has made up some ground on him. Samakonga going well as well around the bend. Vernon Norwood with some work to do right on the inside. And also going well, Kevin Nat Shippey, but there's not much to choose between them. Matt Hudson's got some work to do to get amongst it. And the Brit is coming and he's charging quickly. But it's going to be right in the middle for Matt Hudson-Smith gets it. Ahead of Samakonga, Jareem Richards, all of them right in the middle there, forging their way forward down the home straight. Norwood had to go so hard round that top end.
All right, is the track slow? 20.77. I need to see the wins. But Matt Hudson-Smith's beaten out the Dream Richards. So Hudson-Smith picks up, I'm going to do some quick math here for you. Hudson-Smith picks up 12 points, which puts him on 20. Then we've got Jareem Richards. He goes to 11. It's really about where Chris Bailey finished, isn't it? Because Chris Bailey would need... No, so Matt Hudson-Smith's got it. Yeah, so Matt Hudson-Smith has won the 100,000. He's accumulated 20 points here. So 12 just now, 8 yesterday. It really now does come down to who's going to come through in second, because Jareem Richards with 8 points moves up to 11. Chris Bailey, so long as he's come in the top 6, should hold on to second place. Vern, I think, was a little bit back, but he might roll in with 12. This is the thing, though. Even with Vernon coming third and third, he only gets 12 points. Chris Bailey winning one event yesterday gave him 12 points. So to be able to walk into day number 2 with 12 points already banked is massive. But it must be, the wind must be crazy. Yeah, but the wind must be wild. Like, there's no way that it can't be that the fact that the wind's wild. We've got Olympic finalists running 20.77. Matthew Hudson-Smith is a talented 200-meter runner. There's no doubt about that. He's faster than a 20.77. So it cannot be the track. You know, it has to be windy as all hell. So you get 158,000 to win. How good's that? The minimum you can walk away with here, by the way, if you are curious, is 10,000 US. So let me get the full list here. Because there is a lot of cash up for grabs. I'm pretty impressed with Doreen Richards. Okay, first is 100,000 US. Second is 50,000 US. Third is 30. Fourth is 25. Fifth is 20. Sixth is 15. Seventh is 12.5. And eighth is 10,000. Yeah, so look, I know it's but I understand it's early in the season and a lot of these guys haven't raced, but 20.77, there must be like a minus 1 point something headwind at least in their face. These are 19-point runners. 20.77 would be literally over a second slow for some of these guys after the Olympics last year. So it has to be quick. The track has to be quick because it's a good point. Wind is minus 3.3. Okay, there you go. Wind is minus 3.3. I'm going to put the prize money in this chat. Because I think it's fascinating. Here's Jess Hull. Oh my God, I'm excited for Jess. Sorry, 25K for fourth. Okay, there's all your prize money breakdowns, just for anybody who's curious. So, Matthew Hudson Smith is walking away with 100,000 US dollars, 158,000 Australian, just for those two races. So yeah, if I'm Matthew Hudson Smith or I'm any of the other competitors, I'm probably like, look, Matt, maybe dinner on you tonight. Thinking something fancy. Call me crazy. I'm thinking something real fancy. We're 5 minutes away from this showdown. Yeah, good for Chris Bailey. I agree. How good's the year been for Chris Bailey? He's your world indoor champ, and now he's rolled out with 50,000 US dollars. I reckon that's a pretty good couple of months for Chris Bailey. I'm not sure, Nat. I'm actually not sure. I assume that they will. Like the whole point of Grand Slam and part of their marketing is that you get paid. Like their whole thing is like, doesn't matter, you will be making money. And I know that some of the appearance fees, I think for challenges are smaller because it's like, hey guys, we're giving you the opportunity here to make a lot of money, which I agree with. I actually think that's very smart. A lot of athletes obviously command a high appearance fee to enter into things, but there's no other events in global athletics that gives you the opportunity to make the amount of money you can make from this event. So all our challengers jog out there: McLean, Herder, Klecker, Ejore, and Gul Toppin, the Jamaican, and then here are our races. Without Mary Mora, who's scratched, Wilteji, Jess Hull, and Nikki Hiltz. Geez, so obviously we're here for Jess Hull, and that's the most important thing. But Nikki Hiltz in that 800 yesterday, and again, this is when we were looking through the straw, okay? So we couldn't actually see the finish line, which we'll get that angle here clearly today. But Nikki Hiltz did a great job. They were really strong in that final 100 to come away with the win and accumulate 12 points. Jess has 6, okay? So if she can win this, the maximum she can roll out with is 18 points. Now, Mary Mora was last yesterday anyway, so for her to scratch, to your point, Nat, I'm assuming she would still get the money for being the last place getter in this event, but I couldn't tell you that for sure. So 12 points was Nikki, so they are the current leader. Then it goes to Wilteji, who was second with 8 points. Then Jess was third with 6 points. Sage Herder-Klecker also has 5 points. And then Ajore with 4. So, look, I imagine it's going to be tactical. She needs for Nikki to come third or lower. And there we go. Thank you, Angus. So, and needs to beat Nikki by 0.36. So the reason for that is obviously if you wind up on the same amount of points, it then goes back to the differential of times. So if Nikki comes third, if they're third, and Jess wins, and Jess beats Nikki by over a second, she will take home the $100,000 US. If Nikki comes third, if Jess wins, but it's 0.2 seconds between the two of them, then they win. Nikki wins the 100,000. So this will be interesting here to see what the tactics are. I obviously haven't spoken to Jess. I know that she's really fit. They're all very fit. But I won't be surprised if it's stay towards the front. If you're the other athletes as well, you know, if you were someone like Sage, who is obviously a challenger, you know, she wants to come in here and make as much money as she can. Does she push it? Jess has a very good kick. If you leave it to a kick, I do think that she might come out on top. Now, there's no Mary Mora, obviously. Witeji is definitely an athlete that you need to respect, but I don't think there's too many race tactics that can be thrown at here that can rattle Jess. Time will tell. This is going to be a good race over the 1500. Yeah, I think Box Hill would be a great spot, a landing spot for Grand Slam. I'm of the belief that Box Hill is one of the fastest tracks in the world. So, yeah, I think it's capable of hosting Grand Slam. Why not? I know if anyone wants to listen to the commentators, you're going to be disappointed because there's not a chance in hell I'm not calling Jess Hull at Grand Slam. I can tell you that much for free. So, a good field. We're missing Mary Mora, who really was meant to be that key feature in yesterday's. So, again, if you have just tuned in and you're here for Jess, please do hit that subscribe button so I can give you more of Australian athletics like this. We're away. Women's 1500 here at Grand Slam. I said that this might be the case. Sage Herder-Klecker. It is. That just rounds up on the shoulder early. So Nikki Hiltz, they're doing a good job to hold that rail. Look, it appears as though this is going to be slow, and it is. So Nikki Hiltz, they just hit the brakes. More than happy for this to be a kick. If you've just won the 800 meters yesterday, you're probably going to be feeling pretty confident about the speed that you have. And Nikki Hiltz is just going to hold up this entire field. Jess Hull is sitting right at the back. You can see her there. She's on that shoulder. She'll move around. I reckon she'll want to sit on the shoulder of Nikki Hiltz. And that's exactly where she goes. So Hiltz will lead it on the inside from Jess. Now, these two have raced a lot together. I believe yesterday was the first time that Nikki had ever beaten Jess. And now Jess senses the moment. So gets to the front at 300. I love to see that. A little bit of oomph out there for Jess Hull. And it's a strong start. It's a slow start, but it's a strong start. You can see her ramping it up now, though. This is good. I reckon test the legs of the women behind you because Jess is so strong. If you go back and watch that 350 that she runs in Paris, she's able to hang off the back of Faith Kipyegon due to pure staying power. That is Jess's pedigree. Strong, tenacious running. She's going to test him here early, isn't she? She's going to ask this field to run a 1500. We're not going to see what we saw yesterday in the men's 5K, where they were just requested to run 600 meters of a 5K. Jess is going to make them run every single step of a 1500, and I love that. Her de Klerk are doing a good job to just sort of stay in contact. She's a little wide. I imagine she would want to be just a little bit more inward than that, but that's okay. She's just going to follow the leader, and the leader is our own Australian, Jess Hull. So doing a great job is Jess. Witelji doing a good job to follow too. So she was second yesterday in this race. But if Jess can win, she gets those 12 points. She jumps over Witelji. And we're looking for the person in red as well, Nikki Hiltz. They are the overall leader. If they finish outside of third and Jess wins this 1500, Jess walks away with a cool $100,000. It's this gap now that we're playing a game of watching. Cat and mouse in here. Hiltz moves up into fourth spot, will probably push their way into the third spot, but Jess is looking so strong. She's got good company behind her, though. This is a world-class field, but if maybe Jess can break the spirits of a couple of these behind her, we might be able to see that last lap open up. So Witelji doing a good job to sit there behind Jess Hull. It's a strong beginning. I think it's a Jore who's now sitting there just a little bit further behind, and the rest of this field, Gould Toppin, it looks like, is the one out the back. So bell lap now, 3 minutes 3:01. This is quick. They're going to run a fast final lap. Let's see it here. 3:05 for Jess Hull, leads out for Grand Slam. $100,000 is dangling right in front of her. If you've ever needed a carrot of inspiration, it will be that. Hull now just continues to lead. She will hold that rail forever. She is tough. Now you see the challenge come. Witelji just rounds on that shoulder. They're starting to break the spirits, though, a little bit of this group behind. So Jess needs to be mindful here just to keep that rail position. She's going to just lose it. She just needs to hold on. She's a strong competitor. Needs to find a little bit of something here in this group of three. She is impossible to shake. We can see Nikki Hiltz, who's the overall leader, is sitting in fourth. She'll be mindful of what Jess Hull can do here. Outside shoulder now. Can Jess round around? If she can win this race right here, right now, and move away from Nikki Hiltz, she might be able to get $100,000. But out in front, though, this is a dominant performance. Jess Hull will settle for third. Maybe just Hiltz on the shoulder for the Australian, but that is a big win. And Jess Hull will be fourth here. Nikki Hiltz was strong over the closing stages. Very strong for Nikki Hiltz. Looks like Gould Toppin is going to round out here and finish things off. Interesting for the development of the overall points. Witelji was good. So she was second yesterday, Witelji. So she goes up to 20 points and she will take home the 100,000. So I think Witelji is going to take it. No, I think it's Witelji because Hiltz is third. She racks up 6 points. She goes to 18 points overall. Second and first makes 20. So Hiltz will be second overall. Witelji will be first. And I think Jess will be third. So if you scroll up here, that means that Jess is walking away, I believe, with $30,000 out of this race. So near on 50. Yeah, 6 points for Nikki Hiltz. So don't be happy with that. I mean, there's not a lot you can do. Witelji is a very, very class competitor. But I think she's got it. She should have the overall win. Wow, the Ethiopian, the young 22-year-old. She was a silver medalist at the World Champs in Budapest. And that was just at the age of 20. So, World Indoors this year as well, she was silver in that 1500. She's a World Under 20 gold medalist. She's the road racing world champion over the mile. And now she's $100,000 richer. So what a race that was. So let's get the overall, because in my calculations, in my head, it's Witelji to Hiltz to Hull in that order. in terms of the overall standings. That's the way that I see it. Again, if you are here, big shout out to all 1,400, 1,500 of you that are in this stream. I have to plug it while you're all here. All right. We want more Australian athletics coverage in Australia. That's without a doubt. So if you can subscribe here, you can pump the subscriber numbers up. It makes the pitches to a lot of people a lot easier for me. You're here with Mitch Dyer. I will be on the mic for the Australian juniors. I'll be here for the Australian seniors as well. But look, in terms of running a business, if you could subscribe to this YouTube channel, it would mean a great deal to the network and continuing to hopefully develop more coverage for Australian athletics. So well done to Jess Hull. She should walk away $30,000 richer. Well, yeah, look, I can see your point, Paul. I can. It's hard when that race slows up so much like that. And I think when you have big kickers, because even Sage Herder-Klecker has a very strong kick on her. If you're backing yourself in off the fact that you have very strong staying power. You know, Jess is very strong over the 3K, 5K. That aerobic capacity in that engine is there. So you would back that in, I think, a lot higher than having to rely upon that kick, where obviously 158 speed is very impressive, but there's 157 women in that field. So to me, I'm thinking, all right, I need to get out here. I need to test the legs of the group behind me. You know, who saw from yesterday, who is able to roll with a quicker pace, because common thing that happens in distance running, and you see it time and time again, you leave too many people in the race, it becomes chaotic. Even in trying to scramble yourself to get there. So here we go. So fourth for Jess Hull. So Ejore gets up for third, just 1 point ahead of Jess Hull. So well done to Susan Ejore, the Kenyan, gets up there. So that means Jess Hull walks away with $25,000 US for her 2 days of racing over in Jamaica. And what an experience as well to be over racing in Jamaica. So what do we think? The crowd is a bit better now, isn't it? Look, guys, yeah, it is. Look, I'm enjoying the Grand Slam experience. I'm curious what you guys think, but I think this event has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. If you're wondering what's up next as well, it's the women's 100-meter hurdles, which again is another quality field, because we have our Tokyo Olympic gold medalist Jasmine Camacho Quinn competing here. Denisha Cartwright as well. Danielle Williams, the Jamaican. Akira Nugent as well, the Jamaican. Messiah Russell. Got a lot of love last year, did Messiah Russell. She's the Jamaican record holder as well. Akira Nugent, I've just realised. But Messiah Russell, what a year she had last year. The 24-year-old. I mean, it doesn't come much better than that. To crown yourself the Olympic gold medalist. It was just an awesome display. Kind of didn't jump out of nowhere, but I mean, it was an impressive run, wasn't it? Camacho Quinn was the gold medalist in 2021. Josiah Russell was your gold medalist in Paris. I'm not sure how you failed to correctly add together the points of two races. Graham, it's an indictment on my private school education, isn't it? My mum and dad are probably watching at home going, oh my God, how did you not get those points accumulated? I honestly didn't realize where Ejore had finished. I was focused so much on where Jess had finished that I actually didn't take note of where the Kenyan was. So that's my mistake. Ejore was strong in that pack. I just had not factored that she could jump up past Jess. So, Graham, listen, Mr. Horner, I apologize for my inability to do basic math, but we'll get better. I promise you that. We will get better. If you would like to nominate to be my stats man, I've already got Angus from Math Stats because he is the greatest stats mind in all of Australia. But, Graham, if you would like to do my basic maths for me, I would appreciate it. I really would. Maths is certainly not my strong suit. Anyway, this is going to be great. Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Akira Nugent, the Jamaican record holder, Messiah Russell, Danielle Williams, Denisha Cartwright, Amber Hughes, and Tia Jones is this entire field. So who do we think is going to win this one here? Yeah, I think there's a lot of Jasmine Camacho Quinn lovers here. Of course there should be. Just been an absolute staple of global athletics for such a long time. Anytime you're an Olympic gold medalist, you command respect. The 28-year-old, though, geez, doesn't she have a good resume? She's a gold medalist in Tokyo. She was the bronze medalist last year in Paris. She's still chasing that World Championships gold. She was last year's Diamond League champion. She was silver in Budapest. She was bronze in Eugene. So really the only gold that's missing from her trophy cabinet, well, you could argue Grand Slam, but is that World Championship gold. And I'm a big fan of Jasmine Camacho Quinn. If you can hear me tapping away at my laptop as well, I apologize. I just want to see the all-time list, where all these women sit. I'm always fascinated by the global rankings of people here because Messiah Russell obviously was your Olympic gold medalist last year, but I always like to break it down in terms of time. So Nugent's the fourth fastest ever. The fourth fastest hurdler in human history was Akira Nugent last year in Rome, 12:24. I love seeing the list of our own Sally Pearson in that top 10 all time, still there from debut, all the way back in 2011. Can you believe that? Jasmine Camacho Quinn equals 7th all time. So 2 of the top 10 fastest women all time sit here in this 100 hurdles. This is going to be quick. Look, who do we think? I mean, obviously the Jamaican is going to be hard to stop. A lot of Messiah Russell fans in here too, naturally. This is going to be great. This might be the best field in the whole Grand Slam, to be honest. Now, obviously, bias would indicate that we want to see that 1500. It's the gold, silver, and bronze of the men's 1500 at the Olympics, but this is just about as good as it gets. Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Akira Nugent, Messiah Russell, Danielle Williams, Cartwright, Hughes, and Jones. If you want them in their actual lane orders, though, let me give them to you. So Cartwright from Puma will go out of 2. Tia Jones is out of 3. Jasmine Camacho Quinn is... This is brilliant. I love when they put... And they usually do this at major championships anyway, so don't get me wrong. But I love when they put the 3 fastest all next to each other because the races all end up next to each other. They're the 3 fastest in this field. Williams not far away either with a 12:32. But Jasmine Camacho Quinn, your 2021 Olympic gold medalist, go out of lane number 4. She's hunting down this year that World Championship gold that eludes her. Akira, she'll go out of lane number 5. Messiah Russell, your Olympic champion from last year in Paris, goes out of 6. Danielle Williams in 7, and Amber Hughes is in lane number 8. So this is going to be a great race for mine. So let's see what we come up with here. Who do we have? out on top. It's hard to imagine as well how young some of these hurdlers are. I agree. I hope that this one is actually a fast time. I mean, Nugent's coming off some form. She was bronze medalist at that World Indoor Champs most recently. Yeah, look, I think Masai has nothing to prove. But any time that you become the Olympic champion, obviously that expectation grows and what people want from you becomes significant. Now, Kimecho Quinn was holding that crown for 3 years. Masai's got it for the next 4. But this is a good opportunity for her, I think, to stamp her authority in a big way. So Masai Russell, she's going to have the crowd going absolutely ballistic on her inside shoulder because Akira Nugent, 4th fastest woman in history over the hurdles, goes inside of that. And Jasmine Camacho Quinn, to me, 3rd from the right, lane 4 on the track. She's upright. An absolute legend in the making. Not just yet, in women's 100-meter hurdling. I'll leave you with the commentators. Nah, I'll call it. Stuff them. Let's do it. Well, good start there from Jasmine, although now we start to see the Jamaican go through. Cartwright was actually the first one up, so this will be interesting. Tia Jones as well, moving well. Camacho Quinn, wider than that. Williams, I think, no! At the death, Tia Jones! 12.64, so the challenger walks in. Oh my God, we've seen this so often. I don't know what is happening with the biggest and the best in these sprints. Because it just feels like to me the youngsters roll through and say, I don't care that you're at every single Grand Slam. I'm coming for the bag. I want $100,000. Wow. Danielle Williams as well. Somebody said Danielle Williams in the chat. There we go. Audio slave. Danielle Williams, 2nd. But Tia Jones, the American. Woo! How was that? Now, that must have caught some people by surprise, the 24-year-old. Geez, she was a phenomenal junior, Tia Jones. 100-meter hurdle gold medalist back in 2018 at the World Junior Champs. But that is a massive coup. Wow. Tia Jones steals it from the rest of them. I mean, honestly, I need to stop making predictions. It was slow, wasn't it, off the gun? I mean, I don't think that the best, really necessarily were clean over the first 3 hurdles. I know this is a season opener for a lot of them in terms of being outdoors, but wow, Tia Jones, these challenges are coming in hot. The next event's the women's 100. For those that are curious, our women's 100 is next. And then we go to the men's 1500, which I know a lot of you are very, very excited to watch. But I can't get over that from Tia Jones. Yeah, good call. It is like a lottery. Men's 1500 is 2 races away. The men's 1500 is 2 races away. I can't help the 4 screen. That's just what we've been given gratefully from the crew at Grand Slam. Again, I stressed this a lot yesterday, and you can see that the product's developing. We're in a better situation than what we were yesterday. This is unbelievable that they've gifted Australia a live stream for Grand Slam. We were facing the possibility of being one of the only countries without one. Obviously, for me, an honour for me to be able to host it for you all, but we should be very grateful the Grand Slam giving this to us. Here you go. Tia Jones, Danielle Williams, Jasmine Camacho Quinn. So really, Camacho Quinn was the first of that group of 3. Masai Russell, back in 5th. Yeah, Nugent, the Jamaican, was good too in 4th. But, geez, the big 3, I would call them, Camacho Quinn, Nugent, and Russell. That's a reflection. So it's the women's 100 and then the men's 1500. Exactly right. The women's 100 and the men's 1500. We've got a Melissa Jefferson Woden, Dariel Nisha, the Great Britain athlete. And then there are 2 races. Our challengers are Alana Reid Joshua Sears, Kemba Nelson, Tamara Clark, Jodine Williams, and Jenna Prandini, the American. So it's a good field. It is immediately before our men's 1500, which I know you're all curious on. The men's 1500, we've got a little bit of time before that. So our women's race should go off in about 8 minutes here. The men's 1500 is in 20 minutes time. So 20 minutes until that men's 1500. But let's keep our attention here on the women's 100. This is the short sprints, obviously. NCAA champion in 2022. She was the US champion in 2022 as well, over the 100. In Coastal Carolina, I remember that. She came out and she just stormed home as a senior. She is a great racer. Melissa Jefferson Wooden, the Nike athlete. Still very young as well, it must be said. She was a gold medalist in that 4x1 relay last year. She was a bronze medalist in that Olympic final as well. Yeah, sure. Let me leave you with the commentary for this one. I'll give you guys the women's 100 commentary from the broadcast. And you know what? While I make a tea, so my voice doesn't go absolutely cactus, I'm going to leave you with the broadcast commentary for the next 5 minutes. I'll be back.
What's up, everybody? I am here at the hotel in Kingston, Jamaica. Come with me, and I'm gonna show you the place. Oh man, so nice. What's up, Caleb? Guess who's with me? It's Roland, my dearly and beloved husband.
What's up, baby?
He came all the way to Kingston, Jamaica to support me. So nice. See you later.
See you.
This is the Slam office. I don't know if Mr. Michael's in here today. No, it's just the maid cleaning.
Take a photo?
Hi, sure.
So we need you to sign your name right here and let us know where you're represented from.
I got a new name now, so it's gonna take me a little minute. My first Grand Slam. Here we have the gym. And the more I'm in here, the more I appreciate how I don't have weights today. So we're just gonna keep it moving. Ooh, Caribbean rum cake. I know for a fact that's good. To anyone who's listening, if you can make really, really good jerk chicken, please make me some. Now we're gonna head over to the breakfast area.
Good morning.
Good morning. Roland's over there somewhere. He's talking. Roland.
Hello, let me say hello.
Hello. That's Allison. He's very cool. We play bowling together. Morning, Gabby. And congrats.
Thank you. Oh, you too.
Thank you. All right. And over here we have the pool, which, oh my gosh, I'm scared of birds. Morning. Maybe I'll think about it after I'm done running to just, hop in there as a form of celebration. Because my goal is to go out there and win the whole thing, This is where the tour ends. I would bring you up to my room. However, it's a mess. I got in last night and it's crazy. So.
All right, I'm back for a brief moment. Just a brief moment. I've made my tea. I'm going to leave you guys with this commentary because I'm sure it'll be a lot better than what I can give you. But who have we got? Who do you think takes out this event? Because to me, the challengers have been the ones that have risen to the occasion consistently across the previous 2 days. But when you've got Olympic bronze medalists and Olympic medalists in the field, oh, there's no commentary. Okay. I was of the opinion that they would have commentary on here. So I guess you are stuck with me. There should have been, and I'm hoping you could have heard some background noise in there. But anyway, I will call this race home for you. It's strong. It obviously, all these fields are strong. You got Reed in lane 1, Nelson, Prandini, the American, Nisha, Jefferson, Clark, Sears, and Williams. I mentioned that Jefferson was that bronze medalist. And Daryl Nisha has been 4th and 5th at 2 Olympics. So this will be fascinating. Jenna Prandini, one for me who can really rise up as a challenger. I get the sense that the challengers maybe come in a little bit fitter than what our races are because the challengers have no guarantee they're coming back. So Alana Reed, Kemba Nelson, Jenna Prandini, Daryl Nisha, Melissa Jefferson, Tamara Clark, Jassia Sears, and Joden Williams. Yeah, Jefferson. Okay. It's look, I have never an expectation that the races won't win, but just the way that it's gone over the past 2 days, the challengers seem to be the ones that are popping out of the track and doing a remarkable job to get the win. So I'll call this one home for you. I've got my tea in hand before we get to the men's 1500, which, as I've said, is stacked with talent. But the most important thing we can focus on here is this women's 100 at Grand Slam. Day number 2. This is their first time competing, though. They'll come back tomorrow. And this is the interesting thing about day 2, is that it's a split between those that are on their second events and those that are on their first. Some good love for Alana there too. I like it. So there must be some. If you're from Jamaica in this stream, drop a comment because I want to know what it's like in Jamaica right now. Alana Reed, Kemba Nelson, Jenna Prandini, Daryl Nisha, Melissa Jefferson, Tamara Clark, Jassia Sears, and Jodine Williams. Jodine Williams, if you look in that bottom left screen, she's the closest to you on the left-hand side. Prandini, the last to get into her position. Women's 100 short dash here at Grand Slam. Really strong start there from Sears wide, as so too Kemba Nelson from Puma, but now we start to see Jefferson get into it. So Melissa Jefferson, she's the cream of the crop and she rises. She'll take it. So the first real racer to come out here with a big amount of confidence and take down a quality field. Melissa Jefferson, your Olympic bronze medalist, is away, and she will take out the first of the 2 short sprints. Jenna Prandini, I said Jenna Prandini might come in fit. 11:23 gets over the top of Jassia Sears, who was really fast out widest on the track. It was a really strong start for her. Prandini, another stalwart of American sprinting for a while now. Nisha was 4th, and then Nelson comes through for 5th. So there was some good love for Kemba Nelson. But Melissa Jefferson, really, as I said, the first one that I've seen thus far get out here and really show the world what she's made of in terms of being that racer and coming out and saying, yes, I'm an Olympic bronze medalist. Hell yes, I'm fit to start the year. And yeah, I'd love to take home a good share of $100,000. Well done. Good racing from her. I want to see that time. Jenna Prandini, 11:23, so 11:1 it was to take the win. So that's reasonable. Again, I'd love to see the headwind. Someone has the live results, I know, that has the win reading on it. Yeah, it's got to be over a 2.0, minus 2.0, because we saw in that men's 200 where it was a 20.77 victory, it was a minus 3.3. So I anticipate this headwind to be a minus 2.0 or more. Very nice and breezy. Love that weekly victories. So a lot of you have tuned in here. You've jumped into the stream for one particular reason, or two particular reasons. Hopefully to watch Australia's Jess Hull a little earlier in the evening, where she finished up $30,000 richer across her 2 days of racing. But hopefully you've also tuned in for this men's 1500, because it is going to be an absolute belter, in my opinion. This is the returning gold, silver, bronze medalist in the 1500. A medalist in the 800, Marco Ayrop, absolute star. And I can't think of the time Marco Ayrop, in fact, I think it's been documented that he really hasn't. 1500s aren't really his forte. But Ayrop, Hocker, Kerr, and Nagoose. Hocker, Kerr, Nagoose, 1, 2, 3 in those Olympics. Emmanuel Wanyonyi as well. Jeez, I didn't even realize Wanyonyi was running. Oh my God, Emmanuel Wanyonyi's out here too. So we got the gold, Jesus. We've got the gold medalist in the 800 from last year, the young Kenyan, the 20-year-old Kenyan. He was the silver medalist in Budapest. He has a lifetime best of 141.11. That was in Lausanne last year. So not only do we have the gold medalist in the men's 800, we're also going to be rolling around here with the reigning world champion, Marco Ayrop, who was your silver medalist in Paris. He was a bronze medalist in Eugene as well. Not only that, we've got your gold, silver, and bronze medalist from the men's Olympics in the 1500. We also have, oh my God, this is just such a quality field, isn't it? This is stacked. Bryce Hoppel as well. Neil Gawley and Atui also great competitors. Bryce Hoppel was so strong in that Olympic final last year. This American is just dominating times. He's always been good, Bryce Hoppel. He's a world indoor champion from 2 years ago, or last year, in Glasgow. And he was fourth in last year's Olympic final. So here we go. Now I would love to get chat's opinion. There's big MJ watching on, talking on. Selling the dream that is Grand Slam track, I'm sure. We've got 6 minutes and 40 seconds until the men's 1500. So here we go. What do we think? Who from that 800 meter crew do you think could step up and assert themselves here in this 1500? Because here's the interesting thing. Wanyonyi obviously has a phenomenal kick. So too does Hoppel. Gawley, to me, is the challenger, though, that could pose a massive threat. He's got great pedigree across the board. But when you stare down at Marco Ayrop, Cole Hocker, Josh Kerr, Yared Nagoose, Ayrop going to have to do a lot, I think, to be in that top end of this race. But Cole Hocker, Kerr, and Nagoose also have some pretty solid 800 meter lifetime best. So this is going to be crazy. Minus 0.6 win for the women's 100. Thank you, J-Max. So there you go. I would have anticipated it was more, but there you go. All right. Hey, guys, thanks for liking as well. If you want to like the video, look, listen, every subscription and every like of what I'm doing here really helps push this forward in terms of Australian athletics. I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers. If we can get there by the end of streaming this Grand Slam, God, that would be good. So Wanyonyi is a very big threat. Here we go. A lot of Wanyonyis here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that is true. Thank you, Angus. He was good in that Bathurst World Cross Country. So he's got good pedigree. Hillary's about it, Wanyonyi. Why 4 different views? Couldn't tell you. That is what we've been given. They said Guys, look, I know we gave you the pigeons view yesterday, but here's 4 screens. How does that feel? And you're like, oh, yeah, I'll take 4 screens. 4 screens is better than 1. So let's introduce this field. Bring them out. Bring them out. Come on, MJ. Get them out there. There we go. Bryce Hoppel. Here's the man, Wanyonyi. Neil Gawley in there as well. Atal. And here we go. Mark, how's this Adidas kit? Do you only get the white singlet? Who gets the white singlet from Adidas? That's unbelievable. Josh Kerr in the Brooks. Yared. Cole! Oh, that's the Olympic champion Nike kit. I'm going to be honest. I'm flat. I'm flat. If I won the Olympic gold medal, I like the other Nike kit. I really like the other Nike kit. That was cool, I guess. I like the white. I'm always about that, but I think I like the other Nike kit. God, this is going to be belted. These guys dribble a lot of nonsense about each other as well, which I love. They all get stuck into each other in a respectful way, I guess. The only one that isn't here, obviously, which is going to be brought up numerous times, is Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who felt no need to compete in the Grand Slam. Theory was he's years long enough. He does well enough in the Diamond Leagues. Why should he have to come to Grand Slam? Well, there's always conversations surrounding why not go with the best competition in the world. This is an unbelievable field. This is guys that could easily win Olympic medals in probably both respective races, for that matter, all in one race. So there's a lot of Wanyonyi lovers here. A lot of Kenyans. If you're from Kenya in the chat, say hey. Say g'day. Get around your boy. I want as much enthusiasm around them as possible. Give me a prediction, people. Who do you think wins here? I can't wait to call this. I cannot wait to call this. Hocker, Gawley, Hoppel, Arop, Wanyonyi, Kerr, Atoi, and Nagoose. Oh boy. Lock and load here in Jamaica. A lot of Wanyonyi love. I think... I'm probably going to be wrong. I don't think it's going to crawl. I think they'll run a reasonable clip. It'll be in the 330s. Interesting when you look at the all-time PBs, you can tell who's run 1500 recently and who has not. Wanyonyi and Hoppel, I dare say, haven't run an official 1500 in a long time. Wow, so a lot of people... Look, the better question I could probably ask the chat is, who ends up with the 100,000? Because if we're already talking that Wanyonyi's going to win this, it would be a cakewalk for him then, apparently, because he's the Olympic gold medalist in the 800 meters. If we've already backed him in to win this 1500, Team Kenya has, then the other fellas may as well pack the spikes up, jump back in the car, go to the hotel, and fully anticipate winning $50,000 or less, because apparently the 100,000 sewn up to Wanyonyi. I think Josh Kerr may be the winner here. That's just my humble opinion. I'm really disappointed that Cole Hocker shaved his beard. I don't know whether everybody saw those videos via Grand Slam and Sidious Mag of his beard. I thought he grew a pretty good one. He was locked in up in training. I remember an old housemate training partner of mine, Rob Heppenstall, runs for Canada. He would never cut his hair or shave his face in season because it wasted too much energy. I thought that was what Cole Hocker was going with, but apparently he wants to be clean on the track here in Jamaica. Hocker with the 15, yep. I've always been a big Josh Kerr fan. And I would love to see him get the win here, but I think the real winner, I'm about to turn into every commentator I've probably been like, why do they say that? The real winner here is athletics. Here we go. So a good start. Gawley is somebody who likes to really just sense the tempo early, but Cole, Oh, Cole's going to get to the front. Okay, so Wanyonyi can sense that. He goes, all right, I'm going to hang around here. I always wonder, Yared Nuguse, the lingering question to me always was for him at the Olympics, would he have liked to have been a bit closer? When that kick was made, would he like to have been there? Because you remember correctly, Cole was flying, but Yared was coming home like an absolute steam train. He just had to make up that distance of that dropping off Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And Yared was flying. So what a top four this is at the moment. Cole Hocker, Nuguse, Wanyonyi, the first of those 800-meter men to assert himself into the field, and then Josh Kerr, Neil Gorley, back then to A-Rop. Out the back of it, though, was our Spaniard and Bryce Hoppel. Will back his kick. He's going to back himself every single time, Bryce Hoppel. He's got a beautiful running style in the sense he wastes absolutely no energy remotely. They're going to roll through in 3:45 clip here at the moment. So this will round down, 59.34. So we're literally on about 3:42 pace if they maintain this. They won't. It'll get faster. But your Olympic gold medalist and your Olympic bronze medalist are going to lead out your Olympic silver medalist from your Olympic bronze medal. I mean, listen to that pedigree as you talk about it. The three medalists from the 1500 in Paris are out there in front, just about in order of their medals. The Olympic gold medalist in the 800 meters leads out the Olympic silver medalist of Marco A-Rop in that 800 meters. An incredible field that's been assembled here in Grand Slam. And they'll continue to run this, I would call it pedestrian pace of 59 seconds for what they're all capable of. It's the Spaniard now who probably feels the pinch first. Hoppel doing a good job to keep out A-Rop. He's got a long stride, Marco A-Rop, doesn't he? He's third from the back in the white singlet. The Olympic silver medalist in the 800, that Canadian. He's got that long loping stride where he really can't afford to be boxed. So he'll move around Neil Gorley and just follow along Wanyonyi, who is just back there from Kerr, 2 minutes. So they just even went slower on that clip. But Cole Hocker looks smooth and in control. He should. They're running 2 minute pace for an 800. They'll rep that at the back end of a 6x800 meter workout. So Josh Kerr now senses that. He's just going to roll up on that shoulder. He's going to follow Yared Nuguse. His teammates have been fit over it on. Obviously, Kai Robinson was the bronze medalist over there in China. Dylan Edwards as well had been very strong. But now they start to see this pace increase. So Yared Nuguse is going to see what they've got. Cole Hocker spent a lot of time in the mountains. Here comes Wanyonyi, the people's favourite here in the chat. So Wanyonyi moves up to Hocker, who leads off Kerr, who leads just a little bit further back there from the Goose. So he's loose the Goose. He's out there in front. He says, if you want to come and get that 100K, boys, you're going to have to roll through me. So Yared Nuguse leads it out here. The Olympic bronze medalist from Josh Kerr, the Olympic silver medalist, the world champion, rolls right up on that shoulder. Here comes Wanyonyi. We know he's got that 2K pedigree, and he's about to put it on display. So he said, boys, you left it to a kick. What did you expect? I'm the Olympic gold medalist. Hello to you. Neil Gorley, who I said would be the strongest challenger, gets up into fourth. There's a lot of work for Cole Hocker, the Olympic gold medalist. But if we learned anything from Paris, you leave a door open, he'll slam it shut. So here's Yared Nuguse, grits the teeth. Wanyonyi sits there in third. Here comes Josh Kerr. Oh, we're going to get a replica of what we've seen in Paris. But here comes Wanyonyi. He cheers them on. He says, boys, 100,000. Thank you, mother, for the rabbits. I'll take that. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, he's proved to the world he can't just do it over an 800. He said, you teared me to run a 1500. You don't want me in this distance, boys. I'll come and take it all. Yared Nuguse goes for second, 3:35, 3:6 for him. It was a flurry of a finish. I told you, Cole Hocker, you leave that door open for an Olympic gold medalist, he will slam it shut. Nowhere with 120 meters to go was he. And he found a way. Neil Gorley in fourth. Josh Kerr's going to go back to fifth. Geez, for a moment there at the top of the straight, it looked like Josh Kerr was going to come away with a victory. But he's going for fifth. That is a big, big points difference in terms of now having to come back and run an 800 against the Olympic gold medalist who's just walked away with 12 big points. Oh, wow, that is... It's not a boil over because Wanyonyi has that ability to just turn the jets on. But when you leave an Olympic gold medalist over 800 meters to a kick, and I love the fact that they're all confident in their kick. They should be. They're all world-class kickers. But I'm talking an Olympic gold medalist with range. You're left to just say, oh, we might outkick him. How are you going to outkick that guy? Did you not watch him last year? Oh, my God. That is just superb. That is superb racing. Unbelievable. Our Kenyan favourite. Yeah, I had to get the great Rex Hunt. Rex Hunt, for those that aren't Australian, you won't know him, but Rex Hunt was the real first commentator that I remember listening to and loving. I love to take little pieces of commentary legends. I'll obviously never touch Bruce. He's just head and shoulders. But if I can slide in a thank you, mother, for the rabbits from Rex Hunt, I'll get it in there every time. Chat, wow, give me the reaction. The Kenyans are going nuts in here. He deserved it, didn't he? He's just such a good operator, Wanyonyi. Look, his style isn't great, is it? If you were to break down and critique the technique, there's probably people watching on home being like, how does he run so quick running like that? He's got a low center of gravity. His arms are sort of everywhere. But it doesn't matter. The old saying, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. There's no perfect way to race. There's no perfect way to feel. But if you're leaving it to a kick with the 800-meter Olympic gold medalist who has proven over last year that he loves to kick, I don't know what you're thinking. Anyway, that's me. Emmanuel Wanyonyi takes it from the Goose and Hocker. Gawley, Kerr, A-Rop, Hopple. So, look, A-Rop and Hopple are just going to be sitting around waiting for this 800, clearly. But, I thought the race would pan out differently. I knew it would be in the 330s. It was never going to be some form of world-class 320 race. You're just not going to see that, are you, in April. That's just ridiculous if you were to see that. But it's just, I don't know sometimes. I thought Josh Kerr ran a smart race, to me personally. I thought Nagoose was clever there, but to be honest, I was shocked to see Cole Hocker, the Olympic gold medalist in the 1500, out the back at the kick, because he had led it through 60. So to me, I'm thinking he's got fresh legs. He's in a position that he probably would be enjoying. The fact that he's keeping a field at bay. To me, he's got the best kick in that 1500-meter field, maybe close to Yared Nagoose, but there you go. Give him the $100,000 now, Wanyonyi. Just give it to him. Keep in mind, everyone, we're not going to overreact here. It's April. It's only April. Oof. Okay, that makes tomorrow very... I'm very curious to see what Sidious and Grand Slam get out of these guys. Because I think there'll be some angry races. No? Like, yeah, I'd be angry. I would be angry. Hey, next up, our men's 200 from our short sprinters. Again, just another incredible field, this. This is honestly such an awesome field. 22 minutes until the end of the stream. So we'll finish here. Melbourne time. No worries. Thank you very much, Stace. I appreciate that. Thank you, ML Tucker, as well. Thanks for all these likes, too. We're pumping them up, aren't we? I think when I said, guys, I'd love for you to like the video, we started at about 100. So I appreciate it. All subscriptions, all likes, all anything that we have here. We've got 1,600 people on this stream, which is massive. Everything helps in terms of pushing the content forward here. So I deeply appreciate it wherever you're watching in Australia or around the world. But the 4 camera angles is strong. Let's go over what happened yesterday, because Kenny Bednarek, Kung Fu Kenny, they call him. 10:07. He talked about it. He'd improved his start. He'd gone through some new start mechanics. It showed yesterday. He got the best of Oblique Seville, Zarnell Hughes, Akeem Blake, Courtney Lindsay. The most surprising factor to me of yesterday was that Fred Kerley finished 7th. So if you were walking into this, you would think that, the Olympic medalist Fred Kerley would be a walk-up top 3. But Jamaica's Oblique Seville as well was very, very strong. But Kenny Bednarek is now, in his pet event in this 200. So you would think with 12 points banked already, Kenny Bednarek is on pace to come home with $100,000. He's a very popular man in terms of personalities in athletics. I know that much. I know he's not watching, but shout out Eric Jenkins. Loves himself some Kenny Bednarek, some Kung Fu Kenny. Yeah, no, Russ, I agree. I'm not expecting people to run 19, but what I'm saying is when you look at world-class athletics and you got 20.77, the track is quick, but clearly there's a big headwind. They had a minus 3.3, so it makes sense why they ran 20.77. I'm not asking people to run 19.5, but it's also not unrealistic for guys like this to be able to go 20.1, and feel smooth. So if there's no headwind here, I imagine it's going to be low 20s, maybe high 19s, but we'll have to wait and see here, won't we? We'll call them out in lane order, but if you want the overall standings of how everybody's going here, let me give it to you from yesterday, because these guys are on day 2 of their competition. So Kenny Bednarek is leading. He had 12 points. Jamaica's Oblique Seville was second. He's on 8 points. Darnell Hughes had 6 points. Akeem Blake with 5. Courtney Lindsay had 4 points. Terrence Jones with 3. Fred Curley with 2. And Fambula took home the 1 point. So Bednarek, no worries from Trinidad and Tobago. How good? Guys, we've got people from everywhere in here. How good's that? So I think Kenny wins here. I'm also curious to see how Oblique Seville goes over the 200. I just feel like Jamaican training style leads to Jamaicans being quite good over the half lap distance. And I'm obviously not just basing that off Usain Bolt, but that 1-2 split between Jamaican runners is, usually pretty common. So I'm keen to see how he goes as well. Greetings from Germany. All right. Dankeschön. I think that's thank you in German. I'm pretty sure. Yes, you can hear me tapping away at my computer. I don't know how to not get that. But I just want to see. Yeah, so Oblique's a 20.1 guy. So look, maybe he runs around a lifetime best. Oblique Seville. I know there'll be a lot of Jamaicans who are hopeful of his chances. G'day from Beijing. All right. Love that. South Africa. G'day. Dominica. Wow, we got people everywhere. Guys, what's up? Hope you're enjoying Australian commentary. It's not always like this. When I am on a global or, the national stream here, I'm a little bit more tame. But while I've got the stream, I might as well. Sometimes I don't like it when you're too uptight, right? You're like, oh, this guy's a bit uptight. I'm just going to let it be loose. Let's have fun. I think Fred bounces back. I do agree. Florida in the house. Here we go. Philippines, hello. I just think Kenny is the 200-meter guy here. So it's just very hard for me not to anticipate that Kenny's going to win. You know what I mean? But I suppose if you are to look across it, not always are the ones that we think are going to win. Kenny was the Diamond League champion last year in the 2. He actually won it, I think, in 2021 as well. He was silver medalist last year in Tokyo, obviously behind Letsile. He was silver medalist in Tokyo. He was silver medalist in Paris behind Letsile. He was the world champ silver medalist in 2022 in Eugene. So this is a guy who's, likely chasing his first real big global world championship this year. Now, he's talked about how he rates himself as the 100-meter runner, but to me, this is obviously going to be his event. Fambula's outside. It's a good lane draw wide on the track. Because you've got Terrence Jones inside here from Adidas. Akeem Blake, the Jamaican. Everybody loves a bit of Akeem Blake. He was fourth. He's got 5 points. Courtney Lindsay has 4 points. Kenny Bednarek had 12 points. Zarnell Hughes has 6 points. Oblique Seville has 8 points. Fred has 2 points. And Fambula has 1 point. So I'm talking points here. And for all those that have just jumped in and don't know Grand Slam, is that Grand Cayman Islands. All right, here we go. Is that the total points that you accumulate is how you win the money. And if you scroll up in the chat, I've broken down how much money all these athletes win. But the fact that, again, Kenny came out yesterday and surprise packaged won the 100 before his pet event of the 200 kind of leads you to thinking that he's going to win overall. Hello from Granada. I love that. Geez, we're global here. I said my bias yesterday that I love Fred, but I really do like Oblique Seville as well. Watching from Barbados. Make a poll for the chat. Guys, I don't even know how to do that. Okay, I think I just made a poll. Here we go. All right, guys, weigh in. Oh, wow. Oh, my God, I didn't know you could do this. Yeah, look. Grenada. My bad. Hey, I love it. Jamaicans are... Okay, you want the full breakdown. Let me scroll back up in this chat. It's been active. So from memory, 100,000 to first, 50,000 goes to second. Is it 35,000? 30,000 to third, 25,000 to fourth, 20,000 to fifth, 15,000 to sixth, 12,500 to seventh, and 10,000 to eighth. It's 12.6 million total prize pool across the season. 12.6 million US. And we're away. Really good start here. Watch out for the outside of the track. It's Fred Curley who's got a really strong jump. Seville now trying to get after him. But look at Kenny Bednarek. He wastes absolutely no energy. He's just round out of that bend and said, thanks, fellas. I'll walk away with 100 grand. Zarnell Hughes strong. Oblique Seville's going to lift Fambula as well. But Kung Fu Kenny takes it. Oh, geez, he's just about taking out his ankles as well, Kung Fu Kenny. 20.06 for him. 24 big points. $100,000 in the back pocket. I told you it would be around that 20.01. Zarnell Hughes, 20.37. Fred bounces back with a 20.39. So he'll pick up some more points and some more money. Joseph Fambula as well, 20.42. Geez, it looked like Oblique was coming there. Well, there you go. 0.6 seconds between second to fifth makes sense. But Kenny Bednarek, Kung Fu Kenny. That's why he's the king. That is why he is the king. 58% of you said that Kenny would win. 58% of you were correct. I had Kenny winning, to be fair. So I'm pretty happy with that. So well done to Kung Fu Kenny, $100,000 richer. He just was so strong, isn't he? I mean, the way that Kenny runs the back end of a bend needs to be studied by every young athlete that's running 200s. Because it is just so technically sound and proficient. It's crazy. One more race left. One more race left here this evening. Yeah, Despard. We could have used you, mate. Guys, Olympian Jacob Despard in the chat right now. Break it down for me then, Despard. You should be the best person in this chat to break down the Kenny Bednarek 200 meters for me. To me, he is probably the smoothest operator in terms of 200 meter running. I love the way that Letsile runs. He's so flighty, and his final, 60 meters is always incredible. I obviously love the way Australia's young Gout runs, but to me, technique-wise, in not wasting an inch of energy, Kenny is just incredible. So Kenny walks away with $100,000, everyone. Kenny walks away $100,000 richer. So he'll be chuffed with that. Will Kung Fu Kenny. And one more race for you. The women's long sprints is up. It's the 400 meters. Alexis Holmes, Aiden Asir, Paulino, Price, Gabby Thomas, Asher Smith, Diggs, and Williams. God, wasn't this a great race yesterday over the 200? Gabby Thomas obviously was the one to watch. And she ended up the victor. But Paulino, now she gets into her own domain. To me, this will be big. Who do we have? Because obviously Paulino was our gold medalist at the Olympics last year in Paris. She was your silver medalist in Tokyo. She's the world champion 2 times over in 2022, 2023. She's won the last 3 years of 400-meter diamond leagues. And now she gets her chance to run over this 400. So given that she was second yesterday, to me, it is huge. Who we got here? To me, I think Paulino wins. And Dina Asher-Smith, geez, Aiden Asir, this is a talented group. Curious to see what Gabby Thomas does over the 400. Obviously, the Olympic champion over 200, and she was very strong. But when you've got the Olympic gold and silver medalists in the 400 meters, going to be hard to chase down. Of course, I'm talking about Paulino and Aiden Asir. And you'll remember, Paulino, wasn't she just so impressive last year? She just gapped that field by nearly half a second. Alexis Holmes, she was 6th in that 400-meter final, but she was 6th yesterday. So she would have a lot to make up on to get times. Guys, we've got 1,700 people in here right now. That's amazing. If you've just joined and you wanted to watch the 400, yep, subscriptions, likes, everything that you can do to continue to pump this up is massive. I'm really excited for this. The women's fields that we've had here at Grand Slam are just unbelievable. Yeah, I look, obviously, Salwa was the Olympic silver medalist last year. That's Al Nassir. I'll tell you who we've got in lanes in a moment, but for all those watching at home, when you've got the Olympic gold and silver medalist in the field, what you got here? Okay, Sue's World. Interesting. So you think Gabby gets up for second? Okay. Oh, wow. I think Gabby finishes 3rd or 4th. In my opinion, I just think Al Nassir and Paulino are going to be hard to chase down. Dina Asher-Smith. What does Dina run over a 400? I'm really curious, actually. A 29-year-old. She was world champ in the 200 all the way back in 2019, you remember? I've got no 400-meter time here for Dina Asher-Smith. So, obviously that 1-2 specialist, she would have wanted a little bit more yesterday. No, I'm really excited to watch this one. I'm going to put another poll in here, which I know some of you love, some of you hate. I'm always a believer in put it out there. There's nothing worse than media people or broadcasters that sit on the fence. So to me, I think Paulino wins. Back then to Aiden Nasir. I wouldn't mind seeing one of the challengers sort of step up here. Like, I think it's hard to disrespect Paulino to me. She is just such a phenomenal generational talent. But can we see Dina Diggs or Ann Williams, the Jamaican, get up? Nikisha Price. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Paulino for me. Without a doubt. Paulino for me. Nikisha Price was part of that World Champs silver medal winning 4x4 for Jamaica back in 2023. She was a semi-finalist last year in Paris. But yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, good. So the Paulino, geez. This is interesting. Only 57% of you have Paulino. Gabby wins. No, I think Paulino wins for mine. I'm happy to stake my reputation on that. I believe Paulino wins on mine. So this is their second event, right? They ran yesterday in the 200. This is now their second event. So whatever the standings are after this is who will take home the 100 grand, 50 grand, 30 grand, 25, 20, 15, 12.5 and 10 grand in that order. The crowd looks better. There hasn't been a lot of comments about the crowd today, which means that you guys must be liking it. Here's maybe a better time. Here's maybe a better question. What time do they run? Is that the better question to ask you guys? What time do they run? Ooh, Price wins. Okay. Look, I'm gonna stay with Paulino. I'm gonna stay with my pick. I don't think it's much of a pick, really. I'm picking the Olympic gold medalist, 2-time world champion, 3-time Diamond League gold medalist over 400. I don't think I've really had to read the form guide all that deep to pick out Paulino as the winner here. But Gabby Thomas is a sub 50 runner. Someone put that in there in college. Paulino. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't. It's hard. It really is hard. Like, Paulino's a world record holder. No, sorry. Have I got that right? No, she's not the world record holder. She's fourth. All the way back in 85, the world record was set. But El Nasir is the third fastest all time. Nikisha Price, the 8th fastest of all. I love seeing Australian names in here. Kathy Freeman, the 10th fastest all time. Underrated that Kathy's the 10th fastest all time. God. We need to be talking about that a lot more. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Paulino ran the 4th fastest time ever in the Olympics. El Nasir ran it back in 2019 when she ran the 3rd fastest time in history. Yeah, get the time in. I'm going to say... I'm going to go 49.7. You guys are going quick. I'm going 49.7 to me. I just think based off what we've seen across the board, I know there's some 47 second runners in this field, but it is April. It is quick track but tough conditions. I'm going to go 49.7 for the win. And I'm going to say it's Paulino. So what do we have here? Now, women behind the blocks. Good mix of, I suppose, up-and-coming talent, world-class talent. Some absolute legends, yep. Sia ran 48 last week, I know. Different conditions. I am more than happy to be wrong. I want everyone to know that. I'm more than happy to be wrong, but we had 20.07, we had 20.77, we've had some slower times than what we've seen our athletes be capable of running thus far. If I'm basing it off that, I think, 49.7. $50.1. I like anything from the 49.3 range out to 50. But I'm going to pick a marker and I'm going to leave it 49.7. So Dina Asher-Smith goes out of lane number 1. Talia Diggs goes out of 2. The Olympic silver medalist last year in the 400 goes out of lane number 3. Eden Nasir. Gabrielle Thomas, the Olympic gold medalist in the 200, goes out of lane 4. Nikisha Price goes out of 5. Marileidy Paulino, the Olympic gold medalist for the 400, goes out of 6. Alexis Holmes out of 7. Stacey Ann Williams goes out of lane number 8. This is the second of their events here. They'll run for $100,000. Starts are clean across the board. I thought Gabrielle Thomas might have actually got the fastest of them. So she's right in the middle of the track. Outside of her shoulder, Nikita Price will be right after Paulino. So Paulino's in those yellow colors. But now we see our Olympic silver medalist there in Aiden Nasir just slowly start to creep up on that inside shoulder. So she's going to push that tempo through this opening 200 meters. The gap now moves to Nikisha Price, who's doing a good job to keep Paulino at bay. It must be said, widest out there is Ann Williams, but as they'll round in, the 48.7 last week is on display. Nasir gets in here first with a healthy margin. So Nasir's out from Paulino. Gabby Thomas sits there in third. They're going to try and chase down our Olympic silver medalist over the 400, but that move would made very quickly on the back straight, and Nasir is going to take it in a big way. 48, wow. 48.67 for your Olympic silver medalist. Stuff my 49.7. That is blistering. 48.67 for Nasir. Gabby Thomas comes through here with a 49.14, 49.3 for Paul Emo. And Alexis Holmes goes 50.12. That is just blistering. Wow. That is just phenomenal. So Nasir moves up to 17 points. Gabby Thomas has 20 though. Gabby Thomas has 20 points. Getting up for second. That's a lifetime best for Gabby Thomas as well. Wow, that's the world on display. That is putting the world on notice officially. From Salwa Aiden Nasar. That wow. I had hedged all my bets on Paulino. I'd put everything into Paulino. Wow, that is huge. I think a few people had Nasir. There was a lot of Nasir chat in here, and people pointed out correctly 48.7 just last week. But wow, that Gabby Thomas takes home the 100K. She's $100,000 richer. The Olympic gold medalist in the 200. Just show that she's got... Look, if Gabby Thomas had gone under 49 there and she's only 0.1 off it, that would have been something. That would have moved her into... Well, I'll tell you what, let me put this in perspective. Gabby Thomas has run the 20th fastest time ever over the 400 just then as the 200-meter gold medalist. Anything sub 49 moves you just about into the top 15 in the world. So Gabby Thomas is showing that she is a force to be reckoned with. We already knew that over the half-lap distance. But, not only is she walking away $100,000 richer, but 48.67. That's a great point, Sue. 48.67 in April. World champs aren't until September, everybody. The world champs aren't until in September. That's incredible. Guys, what a morning for the stream. Thank you so much all for jumping on. This is much bigger than what we saw yesterday. You would not believe it. But we're back tomorrow. We've got day 3 here as well. Now, I know there's no Australian, there's no Aussies racing, but, oh, there you go, PB for NASA. So, wow. Whew. Personal best. So it's personal best across the board, really, there. I would almost say outside of Paulino, quite a few women there have run quick. I will end the stream here. In Australia, it is 8:25 here where I am in the morning, but I do... Oh, not a PR for NASA. Okay, so season's best for NASA then. Because I was going to say NASA is the 3rd fastest in history. 48.14 for Nassar. So she has a lifetime best of a few years ago. NASA. Yeah, there we go. So thank you. Yeah, not a PB for NASA. She's the 3rd fastest ever. 2019 in Doha, you remember correctly, was when NASA ran a 48 low. Yeah. All right, everybody from wherever you were in the world, thank you so much for joining here. And look, I do have to end the stream only because I've got some work to go to, but if you want to subscribe, we've got nearly 300 likes on here. I just so deeply appreciate that. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube, it would be a massive help for me. It would be a massive help for Australian athletics. It would be beautiful. Thanks so much for joining me here this morning. I'll be right back tomorrow. Big thumbs up to chat. Thank you. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Big love here from the Addict Network.